Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of LEGO Marvel Superheroes. Let us continue the story now. The Fantastic Four base.
Thanks for sending Agent Coulson to help with the cleanup here.
You were assisting S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time. Besides, I can expense it. But there's something else I need you to help me with. Magneto has stolen the Tesseract, and we've tracked its energy signature to Latveria. It's finally time for Operation Latveria to get underway.
Why'd it take so long to plan?
Approvals, counter-signatures, 4 rounds of notes. You can't believe the bureaucracy I deal with.
If Doom combines the power of the Tesseract with those cosmic bricks...
It could be very dangerous. He has to be stopped.
Yeah, it's...
No, not yet.
Are you going to tell them, sir?
One threat at a time, Coulson.
There's Nick Fury.
You us to walk to Latveria, Reed.
You could use the exercise. Shed a few of those extra boulders.
I'll shed you in a minute.
Yikes!
So does the thing get
Seriously, you guys?
grow?
How are you planning on getting us there, Reed?
In the Fantastic Car, of course. I think it's still stowed away in Central Park somewhere.
Yeah, if the thing puts on pounds, if he can.
Hello, Fantastic Four. You're needed in Latveria right away.
Nah, we'll
Fantastic
play
Car
as
should get you
Invisible
there
Lady.
quickly enough.
Let's see, she has, I think, telekinetic powers and can go invisible.
What came first?
With a telekinetic shield like Jean Grey. Alright. So the Fantastic Car is somewhere in Central Park here. With this...
Watch it, buddy.
Oops. Do they do that when we bump into them?
Boom!
Oh, they do. They say something when you bump into them. Interesting. So, we still need 100 gold bricks to get into the circus place of 250. I imagine there will be more doors behind that point where we'll need to get even more gold bricks. So, something about this hot dog stand. It's going to make a Fantastic Four logo. Now we've only seen Mr. Fantastic use this logo though. So I assume Mr. Fantastic here has to do this too. Just turns it upside down.
Guess I won't be needing a shower today.
So I assume, much like Asgard, we are. This is going to be a single level. Latveria. Again, Latveria is a made-up country, so it would be a lot more difficult to make a giant open world after it.
Deep in Central Europe lies a small nation known as Latveria, ruled by Victor von Doom. Don't let the rustic look of Dr. Doom's castle fool you. It has incredibly advanced weaponry hidden behind its stone walls. Even really good internet.
So, there's definitely some weirdness with the Fantastic Four story and Dr. Doom.
Nice. Does it come with satellite radio?
Because, like, the Fantastic...
airspace.
Mr. Fantastic,
But the weather is
Invisible
dreary
Lady,
with an 80% chance of
Invisible
bad guys.
Woman,
And a
have
100%
kids,
chance of incoming fire.
and
the
they're
Fantastic Car to autopilot
somehow
so we can jump in.
related to Dr.
Human
Doom.
Torch and I will secure the landing zone.
So it's not as much that they end up fighting with each other all the time, as they are also kind of fighting with family.
Boys, I think we've been spotted. Watch out!
Rock beats explosives, right?
There it is! Everyone get ready!
Now,
What do you know? Johnny came through for once!
I missed that mini kit. It feels like we're moving too fast to actually get those coins, those studs correctly. They seem to be moving a little too fast for me.
I saw this in a movie once.
Green Goblin's here.
Doom's hiring every baddie he can find. I wonder what kind of benefits he offers.
Must be decent. He's got an army of security guards, too. Ben, I believe some clobberin's in order.
Ah, Sue, you ruined my line.
Director Fury, come in. We've been knocked off course. Please respond.
It's no use. Something's interfering with our comm signal. Doom must have a jamming device nearby.
So let's clobber. We've played as the Hulk, and we've played as, I believe, one other character that was big. Who was it? I don't know. Oops. Go ahead and save and continue. While we're here, grab this and then hold X and target there. No, that doesn't work too. We are definitely having some issues with having to stand in the right place to trigger things. Like to get that X prompt up there at the top. I mean, I'd do it right at there, but the X prompt wasn't there, so only fire-based. And this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing. There. A and X. So he doesn't have quite a Hulk smash or anything like that. So she doesn't have like a web sling ability or anything like that. That wouldn't make any sense. And we have Mr. Fantastic, the Thing, and Invisible Woman. Yeah, I don't know exactly how it turned out that way, but it seems like Dr. Doom is the uncle. Oh, he's like the brother of Invisible Woman, I believe. At least how the comic story is going, I don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot. He has the web slinging ability. That one makes no sense. Completely makes no sense whatsoever. That Mr. Fantastic has a web slinging ability. Again, I will say I have not gotten to read Marvel comics. In a lot of ways, I became kind of burned out by the reboots of the DC universe, and right as the Marvel universe is also rebooting, and because of that fact, that it's rebooting, I've now kind of decided that the only comics I really want to read are the independent ones after they've completely finished and gotten everything done. Well, that would have worked if that stayed connected. Am I supposed to put it here? No. This is one of these Lego puzzles that is really feels like you could put Legos anywhere, and because you can do that, you shouldn't be able to do that. The right thing here is to make stairs, but they have to kind of click, and sometimes they don't click. Let's come over here, pull this. It's kind of a shame too, because until a few years ago, Marvel was pretty much not rebooted. The Spider-Man numbers of comics was issues like up to I think at least 700, maybe 1,000, and when you divide that number by like 12 or 13 issues a year, you're talking many years. Ooh, some kind of psychic shielding to use this to destroy things? What am I trying to target? That's the real question, is what am I supposed to be hitting here? Is it this satellite dish? Something's vibrating here. No, it's, I think this right here. The thing that's obviously right across from it, but still kind of hard to see. Didn't stand out by its color palette. The problem with comic books is, at least for Marvel and DC, and it certainly feels like they have a good point here, is that if you tell somebody who is potentially going to be a new reader, like I was only a few years ago, because for most of my life I've completely ignored comic books. I started reading them probably maybe only a year before the first few Marvel movies came out. But
that dish looks like the source of the interference. We've got to disable it.
It is really hard to tell somebody you need to read 600 issues before.
Time.
Or for not even to say that, but for you to be releasing issue 700 and expect somebody to be able to read it. Now, after a lot of argument and thought, well, thought on my part, but a lot of argument of other comic book fans, I generally have come to the conclusion the solution is real simple. You just release things like you would a newspaper or something else, and you go, this is the January issue of 2015, and that's it. When a new series is about to start, you say, like, new chapter type deal, or you probably would regularly want to start a new chapter every year. That's how they do it regardless, practically anyways, is every January or something like that. Usually it isn't January, but pretty regularly they come around and they give a project like Fantastic Four. Well, I don't know about Fantastic Four, but they'll give things like Batman books to new writers all the time after a couple years of writing, and as soon as the new writer gets in there, he starts a new chapter and practically ignores everything that's happened up to that point, except for the general things that are always the same. For instance, Batman is the good guy. That rarely changes. Interesting, Mr. Fantastic here is overpowered. He has the intelligence, he has the stretchy arms. Let's see. Am I supposed to just click this big X? I guess. That was an easy hack. That was too easy.
Come in. Fantastic Four, do you read me?
Loud and clear, Director Fury. We've taken down a comm tower that was blocking our signals.
I'm on the other side of the castle. We could do with some backup. Quick!
So, unfortunately for comic books, and the DC in particular, is they did do the all-new 52 DC reboot right when I started reading, and I thought that would be a great thing to catch on, and within 2 years they rebooted it again. And pretty much every 2 years, DC reboots its universe, and it becomes
Why don't you show off your disappearing trick?
completely impossible to get involved with any stories in the DC universe because it just reboots, it just restarts, or a new writer comes in and undoes everything. I feel like Marvel was not doing that as much with their comic books until they just now recently rebooted. And there's more to it. Well, what's the point of disappearing if I have to break the cracked wall? They really needed to script these things so that it just doesn't throw all these tutorial messages over it. And you know, it would be interesting if we can go over here and just see if there's anything here that we could do to turn those off. No. Under settings here, there's no way to turn off the tutorial messages. This is a kid's game. I don't see a real reason why you would want to turn off those messages, but they happen pretty much non-stop in this game. And it's a little annoying, if I'm just going to be frank about it. That it's a little annoying to constantly be told the exact same tutorial as soon as you get next to something. But it's also a little necessary. But you can see in this level, it's just, come on, quit. Anytime you're within anywhere in the screen of an ice thing, you're getting the ice message. Anywhere, we were way far away from this section here, and we were getting the go invisible message. They really needed to tighten things up. They really needed to focus more on it. These messages should be when you are really close to something and you're standing for about 30 seconds they come up. Not just constantly cycling through this. And even at this rate, constantly cycling through this, if there's a little kid that can't read or just doesn't want to read, still completely useless, these messages. So, need to get up there, which is Mr. Fantastic thing. I kinda do want to read the Fantastic Four stories, but I don't know. Now that they've rebooted, I'm afraid. I'm just terribly afraid that they're gonna reboot again. And that's exactly what I don't want and do want as a new reader. It's an unfair demand. I want an easy way to start reading the series, but just for me and only me, and none of the other new readers that come before or after me. Which is an unfair demand, but that's what I want as a comic book reader. So maybe they could release every year a catch-up guide extra. They release annuals right now every year, so if they released a catch-up guide on like Free Comic Book Day, that would make a lot of sense. That would be very helpful. A lot of the free comic books that get released on Free Comic Book Day don't do that. They actually they are either independent stories completely, or they're volume 1s of whatever run, but then they still reboot too. And it all really comes down to the problem that all comic book people just want to not admit to themselves, is they are constantly losing sales, and they are going to constantly lose sales, and there's nothing that's really going to stop that. Comic books are very a niche market, and more and more people as they get older, as they grow out of it, as they don't want to do it anymore, it's going to go down, and you're not going to be able to recoup those losses. So it is not a growth business model. Much in the same way as making vinyl records is not going to be a growth business model. And that eventually means they'll probably have to raise the prices, and that eventually, and as soon as the prices get raised, that eventually means some people are going to have to stop reading them, and you're going to lose more sales. So what they have to admit to themselves is, we're just going to have to get our costs down, continue doing what we love as our career, as long as it can sustain us, but admit to ourselves it's never going to grow. And that's fine. I mean, you can certainly do that. That's kind of what's happening with McDonald's right now, is that you're not really going to convince people to go eat at McDonald's who have never eaten at McDonald's before. You're going to get your small declining percentage of people who is going to it. Just keep the prices down and keep doing what you can until finally that you hit the point where you can't do business anymore and shut the doors down and retire. And that's kind of how a lot of industries, or almost every industry, ends and goes. Every business is eventually going to get that way, and not all businesses can change or can constantly grow. That's just not how reality works. Not everybody can constantly be improving and growing for all of eternity. What is this thing? It's like it's a chip. That didn't work very well, I will say. I could barely recognize him as a computer chip with arms. Jeez. Well, almost a true believer. Are we gonna even fight anybody in this level? Am I just screwing around because I'm talking? Seems like we need to save Nick Fury and Fireman. What is his name? Human Torch. There probably is a Fireman character in the Marvel universe. I just don't know if that's true or not. I know there's a Firestorm, but he's in the DC universe. And it gets crazy trying to figure out and remember all the characters and which universe they're in. Go Invisible, Wonder Woman. Now, I would have a hard time saying that they need more controls for an Xbox 360 controller or bot controls in general, because I think there's more than enough buttons on a current controller. But this is a great example of them not using them, right? They have not had the right trigger or the right bump do anything in these games. This has been straight up X, Y, B, and A. They haven't done anything with the D-pad, and the right stick only changes your camera. Now, I assume the reason why it's programmed that way is because this game is released on like 3DS and the Wii and Wii U type stuff. Some of those consoles are missing some buttons as far as triggers and things. And honestly, the modern right bump and right stick, I'm fine with having both, but I hate it when the game makes you use them both at the same time. I think that you need, personally for my hands, I need it to either be one or the other in specific scenarios. Those buttons can do different things, but those two things must never cross. that is because my middle fingers really can't pull the right tricks. Stanley needs help. Where is Stanley? I'll look around a little bit here. We'll probably not be able to help him anyways. Let's see. So, I wouldn't want more buttons on a PlayStation or Xbox controller, but they definitely need to add a few more buttons to the Nintendo ones so that it's more uniform. Here we go. Is this Darth Vader here? That kind of looks like Darth Vader. Little cameo of a statue of Darth Vader in your Marvel game. Almost to True Believer. Let's see, what does this go to? That. There we go. I think that's what we needed to do. Breaking all of... See, Stanley is somewhere over here, but I would need spider senses. Stanley's stuck in the cannon. Well, I can't help him, sorry. You're gonna just be stuck in the cannon. And the bad guys are just sitting in these chairs. Notice the chairs are quite large built chairs. They've really scaled up their Lego creations in this game compared to Lego Star Wars, and it shows and improves it, in my opinion. Makes it seem like something you can actually build that would actually take multiple pieces of studs and items versus a lot of the mini builds that only require use 5 items, and after those 5 items are done. This laser does not do anything to bricks, apparently. All it did was turn off the guns and set up these light bridges. Oh boy, is the invisible lady slow in her movements. Fight these guys here. Human Torch, get in here and start fighting.
I've got bad news. The only way to bring the lift down is to trigger the alarm, which I bet will bring us a lot of unwanted attention.
Triggering the alarm? Isn't this supposed to be a surprise attack?
Hey, no.
Excelsior. I suppose it is important to point out that the right way to get into comic books, if you haven't gotten into comic books, is to look for what they call, what are they called? Interesting. Trade paperbacks, that's what they're called. They are these, trade paperbacks are the collection of about 6 months of comic books, and each comic book only is about 20 pages, so it is really a short read. You would have to really love to read something over and over again to get enough of interest out of it that feels like it's worth it to pay potentially $3 for a comic book with only 20 pages, barely any text in it, and a few pictures. But if you get the trade paperbacks, they are usually $6 for 6 comic books combined. The art is often re-edited, finished a little bit. Well, there's no ads in them, and sometimes they move the panels around to fit the pages better. And I think almost certainly you get every single panel in a comic book and a trade paperback. They may, on very rare occasions, leave like one out, but I doubt that happens often at all. It would be really hard to tell. I tried, but you would have to go with a fine-tooth comb and look at the original versus the trade paperbacks. So, if you want to get in comic books, you look for chapter 1 of the trade paperback of whatever thing. So, Fantastic Four, you go volume 1, trade paperback. There may be actually more than one volume 1. There may be a volume 1 from like 1980, there might be a volume 1 from 1990, and you would be looking for something that's probably volume 1 from 2000, I would say. And they may not be labeled volume 1, they may just be labeled summer, fall, winter of a specific year. Quite often you do kind of have to ask somebody who's already a fan of a comic book series where's a good part to start as far as the trade paperbacks. A lot of times the older ones won't be on sale anymore, so you won't be able to get something that's not relevant anymore, even if you tried, or the price would be so expensive because it's so old that you wouldn't really want to spend that much money or need to spend that much money. Well, gee, I need something explosive there. What can I explode? None of the Fantastic Four have an explosive ability. Then I need Spider-Man's ability there. But yes, find those trade paperbacks, start at the beginning, work your way through it. Honestly, I would never really suggest getting the comics separate. I find the trade paperbacks are way better. The only reason why you might get the comics is if you have a bunch of other friends who are in the comics and they're going to talk about it to you and you don't want to be spoiled, because you do have to wait about 6 months to a year before the trade paperbacks come out. So if you just want to be on the cutting edge, yes, you would have to buy the comics. But if you can wait, and if you're new to comics, there's really probably not a great reason why you couldn't wait to get those trades and enjoy it that way. I personally had a miserable time trying to read the comic books. Felt very disappointed after each month reading only 20 pages. But then that all went away when I started reading the trades. Still, it is about $6 per comic book series, and so if you were going to do something silly like get all of the DC comics, that's usually 52 series, so every 6 months you would be spending somewhere around, let's see, 52 times $6. So that's somewhere around $312 every 6 months in comic book trade paperbacks if you were going to get all the series, which isn't an incredibly expensive amount of money when you're talking about getting all of something. If you tried to get all of the video games that came out in 6 months, you would be spending way more than $365.
Playtime's over already. Yeah.
Well, you'd be spending way more than $300, certainly. If you were trying to get all the movies that came out in 6 months, you'd be spending probably thousands of dollars. Let's see, what is Nick Fury? Can we not play as Nick Fury? Yes, we can. I'll play as Nick Fury. He's got dual blasters, jumps, rolls. Doesn't seem like he does anything else, really. He's more of an idea guy. here we go. Cut through this door. But if you are a kid and trying to buy every single comic book in trade paperback, even spending $6 every 6 months might be an incredibly difficult task. Who's supposed to do what here? Oh, he needed the Hulk to smash it, I guess, so I could hit the ground.
What? No Spider-Man? Shit. I do so enjoy winding him up.
He won't give up.
Alright, let's take out the Green Goblin. This is interesting, his flying Goblin Mobile is just 3 little mini pieces. Squabbering time.
Take this!
Go ahead and save.
Dumb drones. I'll deal with you myself.
We need to get him off his board.
So we gotta find some stuff to build. And he can't build things, I bet.
Come on, you big ugly orange rock. You think you can stop me?
Yeah.
Pathetic little...
So he's got 7 health.
Time to fly, super nothings.
And I just took out, I believe, 3 or 4 of them, which is fine. That is fine. If you want to give him more help so I can hit the guy a couple of times, and then we go back into this system of having to get him off his board again. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is if I have to do something 4 times to get him off of
Destroying the Fantastic Four. What a pleasant surprise.
This doesn't feel like this is going to be that case. It feels very much like I'm going to do this twice and this will be done. Oh man, his arm fell off. Oh, he can go invisible too. And just... So we need invisible woman? They practically never call her Invisible Woman anymore. They call her Sue Storm.
Now, this is it, you worms.
So I imagine I'm going to end up doing 1 more heart of damage, and then he'll fly away, and I'll have to beat him 1 more time. Yeah. See, I couldn't even do that final blow even though I was punching him, which kind of stinks. They need to tighten up his actions so it doesn't work that way, or just go through a cutscene. So every time the thing breaks, you can see his arms fall off, but they are the only thing that is really like a Lego minifig. Everything else, he's more of a custom toy.
This is getting dull without the spider to keep me entertained.
Do I need to break something? I guess maybe. Or do I need psychic abilities to put them together? There we go. Pull him off and win, man, Mr. Fantastic. It's really weird to me that Mr. Fantastic seems to actually be fantastic, because you'd think his ability is useless.
I don't believe it. You won't get away with this.
Where is he? Oh, he's following me. I lost sight of him for a second there.
Fools! Don't force me to use Dr. Doom's Doom Ray of Doom.
Does that look like a ray gun to you, Reed?
Usually ray guns use focused light, whereas this appears to use cosmic energy.
Why don't you just ask him? Villains love to talk about their stuff. Hey, Doom, what is that thing?
Oh, you'd like to see it in action? Very well.
Seems like Loki might be tricking Dr. Doom there. So we unlocked the Thing and Nick Fury and Doombots and the Green Goblin, which is kind of strange that we unlock him the second time we fight him and not the first time. Still have not had the opportunity to go back to the hangar helipad and unlock the score doubler, which is really a shame because that probably means we're gonna do the whole game.
Hey,
Excelsior. We're probably gonna end up doing the entire story mode without the score doubler, which probably isn't gonna matter that much really, but I kind of wish I could get back to the hangar. Maybe next time we will get back to the hangar because we'll probably be playing as different characters going to Latvia or something like that. I really don't know what the next part of the story is. It may start right where we are at. Anywho, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.